Hi, this is B. Chiranjeev Rao. In this video lesson, I would like to teach some problems on waves, which are very much useful for IIT, JEE, and NEET and other competitive examinations. Now, let us solve some problems based on progressive wave equation. So, this is the problem you see. The equation of wave is given y is equal to 2 sin pi 0.5x minus 200t. That is the problem. Equation of a wave is given where x and y are expressed in centimeters and t in seconds. The wave velocity is. So whenever this type of problem is given, what we have to do is we have to compare the given equation with a standard equation. So this is the standard equation y is equal to a sin kx minus omega t. So y is equal to a sin kx minus omega t compared with this one. And in this equation, pi is not inside the parenthesis. So we have to send the pi to the parenthesis. Then what happened? The equation become, this equation become y is equal to 2 sin 0.5 pi x minus 200 pi t. This is the way in which you have to write down pi t. So if you compare these two equations, this A is given 2 centimeters and sin within the brackets instead of k here, the value is given. This is the coefficient of x. The coefficient of x. This is the coefficient of x. So I write here coefficient of x is k. K is equal to 0.5 pi. And next coefficient of omega, coefficient of t. This is coefficient of t. Is how much? Omega, that is 200 pi. So omega and k are given in this equation, but we are going to find the velocity. So we know the formula velocity is equal to omega by k, that is equal to coefficient of t by coefficient of x. So coefficient of t by coefficient of x. What is the coefficient of t? That is 200 pi. What is the coefficient of x? 0.5 pi. So if you simplify these two, you will get 2000 by 5. The answer is 400. So the velocity of v is given 400 centimeters per second. So that is the correct option in this problem. Now let us go to the next important problem based on this progressive wave equation. See the second problem. The equation of wave is given by y is equal to 0.2 cos pi into 0.04 t plus 0.02 x minus pi by 6, where x and y are expressed in centimeters and t in seconds. What will be the minimum distance between two particles having the phase difference of pi by 2? This is the given problem. Now we have to compare this equation. We have to compare this equation with the standard equation. You compare with the standard equation. Y is equal to a cos omega t plus kx minus 5. This is the standard equation with which we have to compare this. Y is equal to 0.2 cos, you send the pi into parentheses, 0.04 pi t plus 0.02 pi x minus pi by 6. This is the given equation. And now this equation, this is the initial phase. Actually the wave is looking like this. It is not exactly started from mean position, but it started with minus pi by 6. So I write here somewhere here it is formed like this. So it is formed like this, like this. So this is not exactly phi is given minus pi by 6 initial phase. The phi is given minus pi by 6. And we have to find the distance between, say I write here this is one particle, particle 1, and I will take another point here. This is particle 2. I write here this is particle 2. So the particle 1 and particle 2, these two are differed by an angle of phase angle of pi by 2 radians. So for this radians of phase difference, what is the path difference? You have to find the delta x in this case. The distance between the particle 1 and 2. What is the value of this delta x? So if you just observe in general, if this point and this point, this is a complete represents a complete wave, this complete wave, this represents a complete wave, and this complete wave is lambda. This complete wave is lambda, and this particular part is 1/4 of that. So lambda by 4, that become lambda by 4. So delta x normally become lambda by 4. Now let us find what is the value of lambda and what is the value of delta x from this given equation. So to find lambda, we need coefficient of x. What is coefficient of x here? K. So k is equal to how much? 0.025 meter inverse. And we know k is equal to 2 pi by lambda, that is the formula. And this implies lambda is equal to 2 pi by k. So lambda is equal to 2 pi by, what is the value of k? 0.025. So this become 100 centimeters. So this is the first part of this problem. And now the second part of this problem is, we know the phase difference is equal to 2 pi by lambda into delta x. This is the formula. And now you have to find out delta x equivalent to delta phi. So I write here delta x equal to delta phi into lambda by 2 pi. Then I will substitute here. Delta phi is given how much? Pi by 2. It's given pi by 2 into how much lambda we obtained here? 100 centimeters. I write here 100 centimeters by 2 pi. Then how much comes? Around pi cancelled, and 2 2s are 4. So 100 by 4. So finally delta x equal to 25 centimeters. So what is the distance between these two? That is 25 centimeters. So this is how we have to solve the problems based on progressive waves. Now let us go to the third problem. So in the third problem, the equation of transverse wave is given by y is equal to 10 sin pi into 0.01x minus 2t, where x and y are in centimeters, t in seconds. Its frequency is very simple problem. Now we have to compare this with the standard equation. Y is equal to a sin kx minus omega t. With the given equation y is equal to 10 sin pi is just sent into the parenthesis, 0.01 pi x minus 2 pi t. So now we have to find the frequency. So to find the frequency, we should know omega is equal to 2 pi n, where n is equal to omega by 2 pi. This is the formula. But what is omega here? Omega is the coefficient of t. So the coefficient of t is omega, that is equal to 2 pi. So given that omega is equal to 2 pi, it's given omega is equal to 2 pi, but n is equal to omega by 2 pi, therefore you substitute 2 pi by 2 pi, you will get 1 Hz. So that is the answer for frequency. Let us go to the next problem, fourth one. See the fourth problem. Two waves are given by y1 is equal to a sin omega t minus kx, y2 is equal to a cos omega t minus kx. The phase difference between two waves is. So one wave is given a sin omega t minus kx. So if you observe the graph, this is one wave started from mean position 0, 5, 0. So it will be like this. So this represents, for this phi is 0 along positive x-axis, and the displacement for this is a sin omega t minus kx. And for the next wave, we observe that this wave can be written as y2 can be written as a sin omega t minus kx plus pi by 2. So if you compare these two equations, what is the phase difference between these two? So phase difference between these two is pi by 2. So this will be like this. So instead of starting the wave like this, so this wave represents, see how y2 is equal to, we can write down this as a cos omega t minus kx, or if you want to express this in terms of the sine function, you can also write down this as a sin omega t minus kx plus pi by 2. So what is the phase difference between these two? It is pi by 2. So it is started initially at mean position, but its mean position is only here, it is started with pi by 2, and here it is pi 0. So the difference of phase between these two particles is pi by 2. And this is the way in which you have to solve the problem. Suppose if in this problem I would like to change a little bit modification. Instead of y1 is equal to a sin omega t minus kx, but there is another wave given like this, a sin kx minus omega t. So what is the difference between these two? y1 is equal to a sin omega t minus kx, y2 is equal to a sin kx minus omega t. So in general any equation can be. So what is the difference of phase between these two waves? So while writing this, sometimes I used to write y is equal to a sin kx minus omega t, and sometimes I used to write y is equal to a sin omega t minus kx. So what is the difference between these two waves? So first wave you can write a wave like this, and for the second wave you can write like this. It is started with like this. So here initially phi is 0, and for these two, when it is moving in this way, it is moving in the opposite direction. When the particle is moving in this way here, the particle is moving here in this direction at this point initially. And how, if this point the particle is moving this way, the particle at this point moves this way. So they are quite opposite in direction. That is why this equation can be written as a sin omega t minus kx plus phi. I write here. So what is the difference between these two? These two waves are differed by a phase angle of pi radians, 180 degrees. That is why you can write the wave either this form or this form. That depend upon initially whether it is started with upward direction or the downward direction. Here this wave moving upward direction, this wave started with moving downward direction. That is the only difference you can express in any way. So now let us go to the fifth problem. Say we can also write down this as y2 is equal to a minus a sin omega t minus kx, or you can also write down this as a sin kx minus omega t. So these two waves are having a phase difference of pi radians. In this problem, it is given the path difference between two waves y1 is equal to a1 sin omega t minus 2 pi by lambda into x, and y2 is equal to a2 cos omega 2 minus 2 pi by lambda into x plus phi is. So we have to find the path difference. We have to find the path difference. So these two waves, we have to convert this wave in terms of sine function. So it's given y2 can be written as a2 sin omega t minus 2 pi by lambda into x plus phi plus pi by 2. This is how we can write this wave equation. And y1 is given a1 sin omega t minus 2 pi by lambda into x. So what is the phase difference between these two waves? The phase difference between these two waves, delta phi is equal to phi plus pi by 2. This is the phase difference between these two waves. But we have to find the equivalent path difference. So equivalent path difference, we have a relation delta phi is equal to 2 pi by lambda into delta x. So what is the equivalent value of delta x? Is equal to delta phi into lambda by 2 pi. So we have to find out delta x is equal to, delta phi is given as phi plus pi by 2 into lambda whole by 2 pi. This is the path difference between the two particles. Phi plus pi by 2 into lambda by 2 pi. Let us go to the next problem, sixth problem. In this problem, at what temperature velocity of sound is double than that of at 0 degree centigrade in air? Say the velocity of sound depends on temperature for a given same medium. At a particular temperature at 0 degree centigrade, let us suppose the velocity of sound is proportional to square root of the absolute temperature or temperature in Kelvin scale. So V is proportional to root T. Or we can write down V2 by V1 is equal to under root T2 by T1. So the velocity is doubled, means twice to that of the velocity at 0 degree centigrade is equal to under root. We have to find the temperature at which it become doubled, the velocity become doubled. At the initial temperature is 273 plus 0. This is expressed in Kelvin. So now this can be cancelled. 2 is equal to under root T2 by 273. Square both sides. You will get 4 is equal to T2 by 273, or T2 is equal to 273 into 4. If you multiply this with 4, you will get 1092 Kelvin. But your option, in your option, answer will be given in degrees Celsius. So what you have to do is, we have to find the temperature in Celsius scale, centigrade scale. Then you have to subtract minus 273 from this Kelvin value, 273. So this becomes some 819 degrees centigrade. This is the temperature at which the velocity of sound become doubled. Let's go to the next problem. In this problem, what will be the ratio of the velocities of sound in oxygen and hydrogen at a given temperature? See, the temperature is constant, but with the different densities of gases. Different gases means different densities. So we have a relation that velocity of sound is inversely proportional to square root of the density of the gas, according to Newton's Laplace formula. And now velocity in oxygen to velocity in hydrogen is equal to the ratios of densities are in reciprocal. So hydrogen by density of oxygen. Now velocity of sound in oxygen to velocity of sound in hydrogen is equal to, you have to write down the ratios of the densities, 1 by 16. So that you can write down as 1 by 4. So the ratio of velocity of sound in oxygen to velocity of sound in hydrogen is equal to 1:4. So velocity of sound in hydrogen is 4 times more than that of velocity of sound in oxygen. So this is the the ratio of the velocity of sound in different gases that depend upon density. So in the other type of problem, at which temperature the speed of sound in hydrogen will be same as that of speed of sound in oxygen at 100 degrees centigrade. See here, there are two types of gases. One is hydrogen, another one is oxygen. But the velocities must be same. But the temperature of oxygen is given 100 degrees centigrade. So in order to make the two velocities equal, what should be the temperature of the hydrogen so that the velocities can be made equal, even though there is a change in density. Accordingly, the temperature should be changed in order to make the velocity equal. So we know the Newton's Laplace formula, V is equal to velocity of sound and speed of sound for any gas, gamma RT by M. So in general, now we are going to find the velocity, speed of sound in oxygen. So speed of sound in hydrogen you have to find. But it's given velocity of sound in hydrogen is equal to velocity of sound in oxygen. These two condition is given. And now you substitute here under root for hydrogen. Gamma R are constants. Temperature in hydrogen by molecular weight mass of hydrogen is equal to under root gamma R into temperature of oxygen by molecular mass of oxygen. So now you can cancel both the square root, both sides gamma R can be cancelled. So TH by mass of hydrogen is equal to temperature of the oxygen by molecular mass of oxygen. So temperature of hydrogen we have to find, but molecular mass of hydrogen is given 1 is equal to temperature at oxygen is given 273 plus 100 by molecular mass of oxygen is 16. So temperature of hydrogen is equal to 373 by 16, that is equal to is 23.3 Kelvin. But we have to, of course, this is molecular mass. So you have to write down here 2 and this is 32. Then you can make this as 373 by 16 because we are taking molecular weight, not atomic weight. So now if you want to find the temperature of hydrogen is equal to 23.3 minus 273 is equal to, it is around minus 249.7 degrees centigrade, minus 249.7 degrees centigrade. So that is the temperature at which the velocity of sound in hydrogen is equal to the velocity of sound in oxygen at 100 degrees centigrade. So in this problem, this is related to find the frequency of unknown tuning fork. A tuning fork of frequency 100 Hz when sounded together with another tuning fork of unknown frequency produces 2 beats per second. On loading the tuning fork, whose frequency is not known and sounded together, with a tuning fork of frequency 100 produces 1 beat. Then the frequency of other tuning fork is. So this is a very simple problem. Seems to be very huge, big size, but problem is very simple. See here, there are two tuning forks. One is known. I write here this is NA, frequency of known, and this is unknown. I write this frequency of this is NB, unknown. The frequency of this is given 100 Hz, and you have to find this one. But when these two are sounded together, you will be getting a beat frequency of 2 Hz, and the second situation is this is waxed. When it is waxed, its beat frequency is decreased. Beat frequency decreased on waxing. So in this condition, NA minus NB decreased. When waxing, NB will also decrease, is equal to delta N. Decreased is wrong, is not possible. And next, NB minus NA. Here NB decreased, minus NA is equal to delta N decreased, is correct. This is possible. So now the frequency of this is equal to frequency of A plus delta N. So 100 plus 2 is equal to 102 Hz. That is the frequency of this is 102 Hz. This is how you have to solve the problem. Simply, on waxing, if the beat frequency decreased or no change or become zero, in these three cases, you have to add the original beat frequency to the known frequency. So known frequency is 100. The original beat frequency is 2. On waxing, what happened? The beat frequency decreased. So if the beat frequency decreased, or beat frequency become 0, or beat frequency become same. In all these cases, what you have to do is, we have to apply this formula. The unknown beat frequency is equal to the known frequency plus the original the beat frequency. This after waxing, the beat frequency decreased or increased, that gives only the indicator whether we have to add the beat frequency or subtract the beat frequency to the standard frequency. So in this problem, what happens if sounded together, the loading tuning fork whose frequency is not known and sounded together with tuning fork of frequency. If this one beat become 3 beats, suppose it become 3, that means delta N become, if suppose I change this as 3 beats, then what happen now? Delta N is raised. If delta N is raised, you have to write down here minus. Then you will get 98 Hz. These are the two cases. The unknown frequency may be 102 or 98. But which is correct? That depend upon waxing. During waxing, if beat frequency is decreased, then you have to take the higher value. If the beat frequency increased, then you have to take the lower value. That is the most important on waxing. Okay. I would like to change this problem slightly into different form. A tuning fork of frequency 100 Hz when sounded together with another tuning fork of unknown frequency produces 2 beats per second. On loading the tuning fork whose frequency is not known as sounded together with a tuning fork of frequency 100 produces not 1 beat. I write here 3 beats. 3 beats. Then the frequency of other tuning fork is. So in the previous case it is decreased, and in this case it is increased. So what you have to do is, on waxing the NB naturally will decrease. Always on waxing the frequency will decrease. So if you come to this NA minus, the frequency here is not decreased, beat frequency is increased. So this equation is correct. This is correct. And this is wrong. It cannot be. This is wrong. So we have to take this into consideration. Then what happened? NB is equal to, this is wrong. Now this equation will come from this relation. NB is equal to NA minus delta N. So 100 minus 2. This become 98 Hz. So this is the how we have to solve the problem. So in this case delta N become rise, that become 3 Hz. So this can be correct. This is also another type. So what you have to do is simply you have to keep it in your mind that on waxing naturally the frequency of that particular tuning fork will decrease. If on waxing the frequency, beat frequency decreased, then you have to take the higher one, higher frequency. If the beat frequency increased, you have to take the lower frequency. Higher frequency here is 102. In this case, lower frequency is 98. So you have to change your formula accordingly. And now let us go to the next problem. So in this problem, a tuning fork sounded together with a tuning fork of frequency 256 Hz emits 2 beats. On loading the tuning fork of frequency 256 Hz, the number of beats heard are 1 per second. The frequency of tuning fork is. So in the previous problem, we have waxed the unknown frequency tuning fork. But here, we are waxing the known frequency of the tuning fork. So in this case, see, this is NA, this is given 256, and this is NB unknown. But here what happened? This is waxed. So on waxing, naturally what happened? NA will decrease. And the beat frequency is initially given as 2 beats per second. So after waxing the known one, it is reduced to 1. So what you have to do is Na is decreased. So in this case, delta N is decreased. Na is the known value decreased. So if you observe that Na decreased minus Nb is equal to delta N decreased. So this is the correct form. This can be the correct form. So this value decreased, positive, and this value decreased. So this can be, but this is not possible. Nb minus Na is equal to delta N. So minus Na decreased is not possible to form delta N decreased. So I write this is wrong. So we have to take this equation into consideration. Then what is the frequency of Nb now? Frequency of the unknown Furing fork is Nb is equal to Na minus delta N. Therefore, we can write down that 256 minus what is delta N given? 2. So 254 Hz is the frequency of this one. 254 Hz is the frequency of this one. So in this case, in this problem, if this become 3, what happened then? Now I would like to change this problem slightly. A tuning fork sounded together with a tuning fork of frequency 256 Hz emits 2 beats. On loading the tuning fork of frequency 256 Hz, the number of beats heard are not 1. This is 3. This is 3. 3 per second. Then the frequency of tuning fork is. So now what happened? On waxing the known frequency 256, normally when it is waxed, its frequency decreases. But on waxing, the delta N is not decreased, it is increased. So here it is increased. So when Na decreased minus Nb, delta N increased is wrong. This is not correct. This is wrong. And in the second case, Nb minus Na decreased can be delta N increased. This is correct. This is correct. So we have to take this equation into consideration. So this equation become Nb is equal to Na plus delta N. So this become plus 2. This become 258 Hz. So this is the way in which we have to solve the problems basing on whether the waxing is done to the known tuning fork or unknown tuning fork. That is what you have to observe, whether the frequency raised, increased or decreased. Decreased becomes 0 or remains same. All these 3 cases are same. You have to take into consideration. Now let us see this problem. 2 tuning forks A and B vibrating simultaneously produce 5 beats. Frequency of B is 512 Hz. It is seen that if one arm of A is filed, then the number of beats increases. Frequency of A will be. So this is a problem given. Now let us see There are two tuning forks. This is NA and this is frequency of B is NB. So the frequency of B is given 512 Hz. The beat frequency of these two is initially 5 Hz. And now what we have done, one of the arms of A is filed. That means some part of this is removed. Some part of this is removed. Actually, you see, this is the tuning fork, imagine under our consideration. Then what happened? Some part of the tuning fork is removed like this. So filed, it is filed. So on filing, what happens? On filing, always the frequency increases. So this is increased. The frequency of the tuning fork increased. But the number of beats are increased. And delta n in this case is increased. Delta n in this case is increased. So what is actually, it is given that delta n is increased, this one NA is increased on filing, then NA increased minus NB is equal to delta n increased. So this is a correct form. This is correct. Now the other form is NB minus NA increased is equal to delta n increased. This is wrong. This is wrong. So we have to take this into consideration. So NB is equal to, we have to find NA. NA is equal to NB plus delta n, that is equal to 512 plus 5 is equal to 517 Hz. So on filing the unknown tuning fork, if the beat frequency is increased, you have to take the sum of the known frequency and the beat frequency. And in this problem, let us make a slight change. What happened? Two tuning forks A and B vibrating simultaneously produce 5 beats. Frequency of B is 512 Hz. It is seen that if one arm of A is filed, then the number of beats not increased here, it is decreased. Actually, it is decreased. Decreased. Or remain same. Remain same. Or no change. No change. In any case, you can apply the same formula. So this delta n is either decreased or delta n becomes 0 or delta n becomes same. So under these circumstances, we have to formulate as, so delta n is decreased, NA will always increase on filing, no change. But NA increased and delta n here it is decreased. So this become wrong. This become wrong. And this is decreased and this become correct. So you have to take this equation. NA is equal to NB minus delta N. So we have to write down here it is minus. So this become how much? 507. 507 H. So on filing unknown tuning fork, if beat frequency decreased, become equal or become 0, you have to subtract the beat frequency from the known frequency. This is the formula you have to remember. Now let us see in this problem. Two tuning forks have frequencies 380 Hz and 384 Hz respectively. When they are sounded together, they produce 4 beats. After hearing the maximum sound, how long will it take to hear the minimum sound? So we have to consider two waves propagating in the medium with different frequency. That is, N1 is 384, 380 Hz, and there is also another wave propagating in the medium with a little bit more. So this is N2 is equal to 384 Hz. When these two are superimposed, you will be getting a maximum sound, minimum, maximum, minimum, maximum, like this. You will listen a sound like this. So waxing, waning, waxing, waning, waxing, like this. So the difference, say it is T0 and this is T1. The beat period, this is called beat period. This beat period is equal to 1 by N1 minus N2. So now the beat period is how much it is given. The number of beats are given. Delta N is equal to given 4 Hz. That means this is equal to N1 minus N2. That is equal to 4 Hz. The difference of these two, 4 Hz. The beat period is equal to beat period is equal to 1 by delta N. That is equal to 1 by 4 seconds. Now he asked that after hearing the maximum, say this is maximum, after hearing the maximum, how long will it take to hear the minimum sound? This one. This is the minimum sound. So the maximum to minimum is T by 2. So we have to the time between maximum and minimum. Maximum and minimum. That is equal to T by 2. So I write here 1 by 8 seconds. So the time between the maximum and minimum is equal to T by 2. That is equal to 1 by 8 seconds. So in this problem, the equation of stationary wave is y is equal to 0.a cos pi x by 20 sine 200 pi t, where x is in centimeters and t is in seconds. The separation between two consecutive nodes will be. So for this we have to consider a stationary wave. And this is a stationary wave. After reflection it forms a stationary wave like this. And the wave equation is given y is equal to 0.a cos pi x by 20. Now we have to compare the And what you have to do, the separation between two consecutive nodes. So we have to find the distance between these 2 points. So this is one node and this is another node, and these two nodes are equal to lambda by 2. So we have to find lambda first. Now you compare this equation with standard equation. Y is equal to 2a cos kx sin omega t. 2a cos kx sin omega t. This is the stationary wave equation which is given and compared. And what is the coefficient of x? K. So k is equal to pi by 20. Pi by 20. And now we know k is equal to 2 pi by lambda. So that is equal to pi by 20. So now what will be the lambda value here? It is lambda is equal to 40 centimeters. But we want the distance between the two successive nodes. So distance between two successive nodes is distance between two nodes, successive nodes, consecutive nodes. Nodes is equal to lambda by 2. So that is equal to 40 by 2 is equal to 20 centimeters. So this distance is 20 centimeters. This distance. So in this problem, a stretched string of 1 meter length and mass 5 into 10 power minus 4 kilograms is having tension of 20 newtons. If it is plucked at 25 centimeters from one end, then it will vibrate with frequency. What frequency? See, actually, when the plucking distance is given, we can find the number of loops present in the stretched string. So, plucking distance from one end. Plucking distance from one end is equal to L by 2P. So here the plucking distance is given as 25 centimeters. So 25 is equal to the length of the string is 1 meter by 2P. Or this is equal to 1 meter by 2P. But here it is given in centimeters, So we have to convert this as 100 centimeters by 2P. So this is in centimeters. So now the P become, from this P become two loops. But we know the fundamental frequency N is equal to P by 2L under root T by mu. So this is equal to P is 2 by 2 into 1 whole root T. Tension is given 20 by the mass, linear density is given 5 into 10 power of minus 4 kilogram per meter. So mu is equal to total mass by total length. So 5 into 10 power of minus 4 kilogram by 1 meter. That is equal to 5 into 10 power of minus 4 kilogram per meter. So that is mu. So now after simplification you will get this as 200 H. That you will get 200 H after simplification. See, in this problem, in order to double the frequency of the fundamental note emitted by a stretched string, the length is reduced to 3/4 of the original length and the factor by which the tension is to be changed. So we have to find the ratio of the tensions. So we know the fundamental frequency of a stretched string is equal to 1 by 2L whole root T by mu. The string mu is constant and the ratios of n is proportional to root T by L for the given string. So now we can write down square both sides, n square is proportional to T by L square. So this you can write down as, from this relation, n square L square is proportional to T, and T2 by T1 is equal to N2 by N1 whole square into L2 by L1 whole square. Now the frequencies are double the frequency. So this become 2N1 by N1 whole square into the length is reduced. So this become 3/4 of L1 by L1 whole square. So this comes T2 by T1 is equal to N1 cancel, this become 4 into this become 9 by 16. So this becomes 9 by 4. So the factor by which the tension is to be changed is T2 is equal to 9 by 4 T1. This is the, or T2 is to T1 is equal to 9 is to 4.